Hey, welcome back to our study called What is Your Name? This is part 2. We're looking at Genesis chapter 32, 24 through 32. And today we're looking at verses 24 through 25. And we're going to see Jacob wrestles a man. And remember what is going on in the story. Jacob is ready to enter into the land of Canaan. Right? He's left Laban. He's obeying God. He's going back to the land of his forefathers. But he had sent messengers to Esau before he goes in. Now the messengers reported back that Esau was coming with 400 men. And it wasn't, a party. Jacob tries to appease Esau by sending gifts ahead of him with a humble message. As Esau gets closer and his arrival is imminent, Jacob decides to split what he has into two camps, hoping to at least have half of what he has escape and make it alive. The rest would unfortunately have to die. So then the night before his brother's arrival, he splits his family and sends them across the Jabbok. And then he stands alone on the other side, waiting for whatever's to come. Now Jacob has called out to God. He's prayed to God and asked him to deliver him from the hand of Esau. And he's planned and he's tried to manipulate the situation as much as was in his power to do so. And finally, he must stand alone. So if you've been joining us as we've been going through some of these stories, if you ever looked at Hosea chapter 12, where God is calling out the nation for its sin. Read that chapter. Go back to Hosea chapter 12. Read chapter 12. And, God is calling out Hosea. Hosea is on the right. He's calling out the nation of Israel because of all their sin and they're refusing to turn back to God. Now, in this chapter, God refers back to Hosea chapter 12. He refers back to Jacob, the original Israel. So he's kind of using a comparison. Hey, look at Jacob, the originator, the original Israel, and now look at what you're doing. And he does that. Hosea does that to explain what was going to happen to the nation of Israel in the future. God says in Hosea 12:2, the Lord has an indictment against Judah and will punish Jacob according to his ways. He will repay him according to his deeds. Now God is saying that he would punish the nation just like he did punish Jacob according to his ways and deeds. Jacob tried to secure the promise of God in his life through manipulation and deception. In other words, by his own strength. God has been showing Jacob that it is not his own strength that he will succeed. It's not by his own power that he's going to make it, that he's going to survive, let alone prosper. And so Jacob is left standing alone on the riverbank. But the question is he really alone? Now we see a man comes and wrestles with Jacob. Just jumps right away, right? He's standing there alone. Bam, all of a sudden, we got this man coming. So in the middle of the night, a man comes and wrestles with Jacob until the breaking of the day. So however how long that is, we don't know because it says he went back to the camp and then that sometime during the night he got up and decided that he should move his family away and then he would stand on the other side alone. So we're not quite sure the timing of this, what time of night it was. Was it early at night? Was it late at night? But you have to say, there's some time has passed, before that they're wrestling here. So this is an abrupt change in the narrative. Without explanation or introduction, we jump from Jacob being alone on the side of the river to a man wrestling Jacob. Notice neither the man nor Jacob had the upper hand in the struggle here. They're wrestling all night. Neither is gaining ground. Neither of them is winning. And all throughout the night, they were equally matched. Neither Jacob or the man gave up or tired out. They had strength for all night wrestling. Now, Jacob's in his 90s here. And even though, he is living longer, his lifespan is kind of stretched out. So 90s is not like 90s today. He's still getting to be an older man, right? But yet he has the strength to wrestle all day long, or all night long. But as the first light of day comes, the man sees that he's not prevailing, it says, against Jacob, and so he just touches Jacob's hip touches his hip socket, and immediately Jacob's hip is dislocated. Now, in our minds, we might begin to wonder, who is this man? Who can dislocate a person's hip by a mere touch, and at will? How could a man wrestle through the night and not win, but then when he chooses, can lay a hand on the hip of another person, of the other combatant, upon the other wrestler, and dislocate it? And the question too you might have in your mind is, why didn't the man do that at the very beginning? Like, just walk up, boom, you want to wrestle? Okay. If he could have done that at any moment, just touch him. The word in the Hebrew is just for touch. It's not, wrestled out or broke or anything else like that. It's the word for touch. So all he did was touch his hip, and it came out of socket. So our questions here begin to grow, right? Who is this guy that just shows up and begins to wrestle with Jacob? And what's going on here? And so come back next time, and we'll begin to explore some of those questions here. Maybe find some answers, but we're going to definitely dive in a little bit more into these questions and see what's going on here. Who is this guy that Jacob is wrestling? So come back next time. We'll look at Genesis 32, 26 through 29, and we'll look at, Jacob asks for the name. Why does Jacob ask for the man's name? And we'll find out next time.